Welcome one, welcome all to DeFi Crypto and Airdrops, Crypto and Chill. I am Mike, aka Veteran Crypto, and with me as always is Jeff, aka the Blockchain Report. How's it going, brother?
What's up? Managed to survive the rain, so spent quite a little time on the road today. So it's yeah, people when it rains out here, it gets a little crazy.
Dude, at least you got home with unscathed. I freaking went to drove down my driveway to the mailbox at a blazing 3 miles an hour. Tried to take a
Ooh.
corner, and with the slushy snow, I slid my truck into a tree and just freaking. It looks like I've gotten a head-on collision with another vehicle. Like the whole side of my truck is just fucked up.
Oh man,
So
damn.
unfortunately, I got to take that in on Thursday to drop it off so it can get fixed. But I'm like, literally, I was going like 3 miles an hour, tried to round a corner, and just because of the slope and how icy and slushy it is, it just kept going straight. I turned the wheel and it just kept going straight and freaking, hit an immovable object, big old pine tree, and it just freaking destroyed the front of my truck.
Oh no, man, that's crazy that sometimes the slowest speeds can cause the most damage.
It's honestly, it's insane to me how much damage it did. I'm like looking at the front passenger side quarter panel right now. Like the corner of the hood is like buckled and smashed in. That whole quarter panel's crumpled back. The headlight, of course, is trashed. I mean, it's like you got to be kidding me. It's like
Dang.
an old an old 70s truck. It might have dinged the bumper. It's like these new
Yep.
vehicles, man. Yeah, they're so fragile.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't make them like they used to, man. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
But how you holding up other than that?
Oh, everything's good in my neck of the woods. Other than that, like I said, I went to the mailbox to pick up my new little gaming mouse that I got. So my little
Ooh.
gaming mouse is going to end up costing me probably at least a couple $100 because of my deductible and stuff. So yeah. But the bright side is that my gaming on Arc Raiders is freaking 1,000-fold improved. I mean, I'm like freaking
Oh,
dropping people like it's cool.
nice, nice. Yeah, the keyboard and mouse is the way to go, man.
Oh
It's
yeah, yeah. Trying to use my thumb to aim and stuff. I just it was not freaking. It was not working out for me. So yeah, having a mouse and keyboard is definitely the way to go. How about you,
yeah, and
man?
it's
What else
fucking
you got on? How's
snow.
it going?
Good. Had a couple interviews yesterday and today. Got one tomorrow with Amazon. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, oh man. And then I got to contact the labor board for this contract shit. I mean, it's
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I was talking to my uncle because he worked at Cisco and he was like, that's really unprofessional of them to offer a contract role without having their budget finalized. So yeah, it's crazy, man. So it's definitely something new I gotta navigate, but yeah, we're in it. We'll either way we push forward.
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and jump into
Yeah,
the
yeah.
and then I got a couple of things that we can kick off with as far as the some crypto specific news and alpha.
Oh man. Real quick, aim assist for pussies.
I'll tell you,
Oh man.
I needed fucking aim assist on my truck to fucking assist me to, not hitting that fucking tree.
Tell the tree, why didn't you move out of the way?
Oh, dude, yeah, I just
Uh, well, we hope everyone else is doing great out there and surviving the elements out in the world. But we appreciate you joining us for our Crypto and Chill here at DeFi Crypto and Airdrops, where me and Mike go live every Tuesday and Friday for Crypto and Chill, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. We have a host of other shows throughout the week. Mike and David, David from DeFi University, had their DeFi High entry-level DeFi show Monday through Friday 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. There's also Money Talks on Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific, where Myke, Taylor, and Texas Jeff talk about traditional finance, wealth preservation, and other markets, precious metals and stuff. And Wednesday's DeFi Masterclass with David from DeFi University and Jake Call from Metrix Finance. That's at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. And Thursdays are fun red pill at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, where we just kind of go off the rails and talk about everything outside of crypto, life, politics, religion, all the stuff that they tell you that you're not allowed to talk about at the dinner table. So
Absolutely.
We have exclusive interviews dropping every so often, and all of this is for free. Great place to come and get all your crypto resources and traditional finance stuff. Our brother channel is me at the Blockchain Report, Drew at the Blockchain Basement, David's DeFi University, and Jake Call right here. Jake Call has Metrix Finance, DeFi portfolio, and simulator and tracker. It is free to join. And if you find value, you can jump up to the monthly or yearly subscriptions. David's DeFi University, it is free. The only thing that's paid for is the daily live mentorship program, which is 2 hours a day, Monday through Friday. And that's $97 a month, but the whole DeFi University course is free. And that DeFi High entry-level DeFi show, him and Myke are going through all of the course material and breaking it down step by step, each topic, and kind of diving into the nitty gritty. So it's great knowledge. Myke and Taylor have their DeFi Wize newsletter that go out before the traditional finance markets open. So they get up pretty early to get all this information to you, get ranges set, market sentiment, all kinds of great stuff. So it saves you a lot of time. That's a little under $20 a month. It goes out Monday through Friday. And you can catch Myke at Veteran for Crypto on Twitter, me at the Blockchain Report at the BCR 142. And we are streaming. We are on arena.social. It's like a Twitter meets Twitch meets YouTube. They got all kinds of stuff, spaces, stages, streaming, live streaming. They have an app store. They have trading on here too. So you can get it's one-stop shop. And we do live stream here, and we are doing a gaming stream, weekly gaming stream. So check that out as well. And I'm at the BCR 142. You can sign up with your Twitter account, and it'll kind of link that to your arena.social profile. And yeah, if you're looking for some fun on Saturday nights, I do a DJ live stream on Saturday nights. So if you want to get down and boogie and kick it, that's a lot of fun. But we got everything you could want all in.
Oh yeah.
Our awesome community.
We got traditional finance stuff, wealth management, crypto, DeFi, airdrops, gaming. It's a one-stop shop. About the only thing that we don't got is porn, so you'll have to go elsewhere for that.
Unless.
Right. All right. So let's pop over to here, and we'll just start going through some of the stuff that's going on in crypto right now. David said he might pop in here in a bit. So Uniswap. So this is a little bit old news, but BUIDL, the BlackRock BUIDL fund, they decided to use the Uniswap's chain and Uniswap, for their BUIDL fund with Securitize. Now, somebody asked me, I forget who it was. They asked me, why they chose Uniswap instead of like Airdrop. And honestly, I think a lot of it has to do with the new revenue share, for lack of a better term, that Uniswap is doing. So I think by holding Uniswap, that they saw it as being more profitable, and that's about the only reason that I found that would make them want to choose that chain over the base chain. And the fact that right now, right out the gate, Uniswap is multi-chain, whereas Aerodrome isn't multi-chain yet.
So they want kind of first mover advantage, immediate first mover advantage, I guess.
Are we back?
Oh,
there we
back.
are. Yeah, Morpho today, there was actually some news. I'll see if I can find it here in a minute. Wispy was saying that he hasn't looked at prices recently, but Morpho rocketed. So a bunch of new partnerships came out with Morpho. So I still have my original bag of Morpho, just because, again, like I always say, I'm watching what's being built and what's being done, not necessarily the price of these projects. I'm keeping an eye on the fundamentals, and Morpho has strong fundamentals. They're providing the lending and borrowing on Coinbase. They have a bunch of new partnerships that just came out where a bunch of liquidity is actually going to be getting injected. So and functionality. So it's something that I've definitely kept my eye on. I got this. Let's actually play
sideways
this
to downward price action as a macro. We took also one of many very unpopular in the crypto space decisions was to go with something called a burn mint equilibrium for the tokenomics, and just means that 100% of the fees of the network are burned, and fees are fixed in dollars, and you burn a different amount of coin based on the current conversion rate of the coin to dollars. But what can happen is if the market undervalues your coin relative to the amount of fees in the network, you can go into these deflationary states, and it can happen temporarily, but it obviously can't happen permanently, or you would completely run out of coins. And with all the activity in the network today and the rapid growth of activity in the network that we're projecting, throughout the course of the quarter, we're consistently seeing that we're flirting with the idea of being deflationary within some of the reward buckets, and sometimes looking at potentially being deflationary overall. And I think that what that tells me is that the market still doesn't understand how much stuff is going on in this ecosystem. We're not getting the 1000x multiples on fees that other ecosystems are getting. We're getting something very, very close to no forward multiple on what's going on in the ecosystem based on just kind of the way that the burn's working. And I don't think people understand these dynamics well enough. And there could be scenarios where we get into these markets where we have sideways to downward price action as a macro, and Canton can continue to just burn through it, and we could be anti-correlated with the macro malaise, because as we continue to drive more and more utility into the ecosystem, that generates more and more burn, and the market can ignore it for so long, but we can't be deflationary forever. And again, we're not deflationary right now, so I'm not going to overstate it. But the activity in the network continues to really push the boundary on this burn mint equilibrium function. And I think that at some point, the market's going to have to give proper understanding of how these dynamics work and pay a little bit more attention to what's moving in the ecosystem and how these use cases that we have are driving real utility.
So basically what he's saying in a nutshell is that, with the burn mint mechanism, a lot of people don't understand the tokenomics of Canton, in a deep way. So with the burn mint equilibrium, what he was talking about is if the price of the token, and this is something that I just learned from listening to him just now, if the price of the token dips, very steeply, then it can drive the burn mint mechanism to make the Canton token deflationary. So basically it would end up, because the fees are paid in dollar amounts, then they would need more of the token to use the network. And so they would be needing to spend more of the tokens, which would suck more of the tokens out of circulation. And then they, like he said, 100% of the tokens or the fees are burned. So even a steep price drop on Canton could cause it to be deflationary, not just network usage.
Damn.
which is what I thought before, was it was only network usage. So I just learned something, from watching that video. goes to show you, you can do research on stuff, freaking all day long and still not know everything about it. So, yeah, that's very interesting. So that actually is probably one of the reasons why the price of Canton has stayed so steady compared to the rest of a lot of these crypto projects. Is, while everything else is taken, 20, 30, 40, 50% dips, Canton is actually at a higher value, price of the token is actually higher than it was when it was launched, months ago. So that's actually really cool aspect of Canton that helps to stabilize the price.
Interesting. Yeah, I was wondering why the price was holding up so well compared to the market drop, man.
Right?
Yeah, it's got to be a big factor. And also the hype around it. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of good stuff being put out.
It looks like Zora is launching on Solana. So those of you that don't know, Zora is a social platform on Base Network, and Solana and Base have been doing a lot of deep integrations, as far as interoperability. And so it looks like Zora is actually launching on Solana as well.
Interesting.
Well, do we want to listen to another video? It's about 2 minutes long. It's the co-founder, Eric, on the complexities of tokenizing stocks and doing things right, secure, and in a scalable way. Is that something we're interested in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Crypto.
Yeah, I mean, not to pick on anyone, because again, I don't think any of the things that are going on are inherently bad. But when you look at the early attempts here to create tokenized stocks, most of them don't amount to much more than really a CFD, or contract for difference, a derivative on the issuer's balance sheet.
Yeah.
And I don't blame most crypto native participants for not really understanding what that risk is. But I think the symptom that you see in the network is that these things don't scale beyond the low single digit billions. It's okay to take a few $100s of counterparty risk to Robert.
Yeah.
Totally fine. Are you going to take $1 trillion of counterparty risk to Robinhood? No, probably not. Right. So it's not that these things don't work. It's that they scale to crypto native levels and they don't scale to capital markets levels. And we don't appreciate as a space how much bigger capital markets are.
Yeah, this is exactly what we were discussing even before we hit record here, was just talking about how for forever, most of the crypto space, or at least the local people in the crypto space, said, we're ready for Wall Street, the herd is coming, but at no point would we have actually been ready up until maybe now. And even now, it's still looking pretty early.
It's still early. The whole thing is still very early. We're at, basis points that the capital markets are on chain today. And we need to band together and start working into the, percentage points and collectively push on this.
Totally. You look at some of these borrow venues and you're like, well, somebody with a 5 basis points allocation into a strategy through this would wipe out the entire liquidity.
Not that interesting. All right. This guy, man, I don't like talking about people, but be very careful listening to this guy. Mason, he's an influencer, been around for quite some time, but doesn't give the best advice. But let's read what he has to say. The XRP buyback theory is and always will be the dumbest community theory of all time. We had influencers telling their audience with a straight face that the Federal Reserve was going to buy back their XRP for $10,000 per coin when billions of XRP was readily available on exchanges at $1 plus. You know what? For once, I agree with him. I'm going to like that shit. Freaking, you're right. Let's see what else we got here. Incentives are live on the Mantle official market. Users can supply USDC, USDT, USDE, wrapped ETH, and GHO to earn rewards. All right, so it looks like Ave's on Mental Network now. So it looks like they, Aave, if you don't know, is like Morpho. It's a borrowing and lending platform, but it looks like that they launched on a new chain. Looks like the trenches are live on base. Permissionless launches, liquidity deployed on Aerodrome community owned. This looks like an AI video or something.
Base is built to empower builders and creators. Total freedom to launch an app, grow a business, and earn.
Anyone can launch anything on Base.
Emergency. The trenches are live on Base! Pump it! Pump it!
Totally AI.
It's not telling us anything. It's just it's hype basically. Even if I'm bullish on a chain or a project, I hate hype. Plume, again, it's I've been seeing a couple of things that make me bullish on Plume, but that TVL, that liquidity that exited, is very, very concerning. I still have my entire bag of Plume, but I'm considering it a long shot. They've built out an awesome ecosystem for RWAs, but if it's not adopted, it doesn't matter how awesome it is. What do you got over there? Why are you so quiet?
Oh no, I got some stuff on some shutdowns, projects shutting down, and
all right. Let's pop over to that real quick.
Well, first we got Moonwell Finance was exploited for almost $2 million today, I think, or yesterday.
I think it was yesterday or day before.
Yeah, after Claude Opus 4.6 hard-coded the price of CB ETH to $1.12. So, yeah, I guess their code, AI code, led to a smart contract exploit. Yeah, someone said maybe audit the contracts first before deploying them.
Right?
Who? Man. What boneheaded mistake was that?
Oh, dude, and if I can to be that person that fucked up like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Wispy. I had got the Zora airdrop, and I sold it before that big pump too. I think I had I don't remember how many tokens, but it was quite a lot. But yeah. I mean, the whole creator thing, the Zora thing was, I don't know. There's just a lot of bullshit on there.
It's been really hard for these social apps to to really gain ground, because the amount of people in crypto, and especially right now, the interest in crypto is at an all-time low for the most part. Even on Arena. I mean, I love Arena, don't get me wrong, but fucking Arena's been dead. I mean, like right now, we got like 3 people watching over there. For a while there, we were getting more views on Arena than we were on, on X and YouTube and everything. So, yeah, it's just people are beat down. I don't know how long it's been since anybody tipped. Since I've seen anybody tip on the Arena.
Yeah. Only 150 people online over there.
Yeah.
The market's just been having a rough go.
Fear and greed index was like in the single digits, and I mean, it's been rough. I mean, I'm surprised at how many people show up for our shows. I mean, earlier today for DeFi High, we had a couple hundred people in there. I was like, damn.
Oh,
Yeah, freaking, yeah, at this point in the market, that was like, to me, that was insane to me.
damn, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah. So polynomial finance, and their trading platform, they're winding down after, I don't know how many years they've been active, but they have a whole timeline right here. So they've done 4 billion in volume, 27 million transactions. They had 8 million in TVL at their peak. But yeah, that and Zero Lend. It's a lending and borrowing protocol.
As much TVL as fucking Cardano's DeFi.
hey, hey, Cardano ain't giving up. Why did they give up?
Right?
Quitter. Oh, yeah, Wispy, I don't wear a G-string. It's because I don't wear any underwear. No.
And he'll put it in your prison wallet. He'll just
prison wallet.
Yep. Credit card swipe you.
Oh, so yeah, Zero Lend is a lending and borrowing protocol, liquid restake tokens and stuff for layer 2s, and they're winding down after 3 years of building and operating the protocol. So yeah, they said that supporting the many of the chains liquidity is significantly deteriorated. Some funds are currently locked in positions tied to illiquid or inactive environments. And they're working on a solution to return these funds to users. And that was my biggest concern with all these layer 2s and all these same protocols is you have so much liquidity that's just in small amounts, but over hundreds of assets that might not have any volume, and it's just locked up. It's pulling value from being distributed to real solid projects. So the less bullshit that we have out there, like, we don't need more layer 2s and stuff like that. Just, build something that people will need and find use, a good use case for. Let's see, Zero.
Well, I want to address this real quick. Be very, very cautious of Aster. If you don't believe me, go to bubblemaps.io. Like 95, me and David talked about this in DeFi High this morning. Like 95% of the tokens are owned by the founders and VCs and shit like that. There's a super high concentration of tokens with them. So that has a very, very high potential for if for whatever reason they decide that they're done with the project, they can freaking dump. I mean, if they dump even 5% of that, they would suck probably all the liquidity out of that token. So be very, very careful with Aster. Not to say that it's not a good protocol. Hype, as far as a perps dex, I would go with Hype before I'd go with Aster, simply because the tokenomics are better, and they actually share revenue with token holders, whereas Aster does not. That is my big focus right now. I'm really looking at consolidating my investments into tokens where the revenue generated on the protocol or on the chain is shared with token holders in some way through the mechanics, the tokenomics, whatever you want to call it. Aster has a lot of red flags for me. I personally would not buy it. Just my 2 cents. You do you, but I highly suggest you take a look at who holds the very, very large amount of tokens in circulation.
More like ass her or ass hurt.
Oh, friggin' Mr. Peaceful must have heard me. I appreciate it, Mr. Peaceful. He tipped us $2 in AVAX. He's like,
hey.
He's like, how dare you not say nobody tips on Arena?
No, that's awesome.
Oh, Mooks. Vet's just an Asian hater. CZ never have done a bad thing to us. Yeah, I know he's joking. It's yeah, because
I know.
there's
See
nothing
nothing.
but sketchiness going on, in my opinion, over at Binance and anything to do with Binance.
I don't know. Maybe he could see better if he'd open his eyes a little bit, but no.
Oh yeah, no, it's
Oh.
I don't know. I definitely not touching anything that they have anything to do with. You start looking into October 10th, the big crash that happened. You start looking into pretty much every black swan event in crypto, and it seems like they're part of it somehow. And I'm not saying that they're intentionally or maliciously doing anything, but it seems like they're always some part of it. Like what happened on October 10th. A big part of it was the depegging of USDE.
Yeah.
And that caused like this kind of chain reaction. And then a bunch of people, got liquidated because stop losses didn't trigger, and a lot of it only happened on Binance. So do with that as you will.
Yeah. And I mean, it's been case after case over the years, just sketchiness. And how many times are you going to stub your toe on the same fucking door and before you realize, oh, let me move my foot out of the way before I open the door?
No, absolutely.
Oh, and I got one more.
Okay.
So you can check if you have an airdrop tonight at 7 p.m. But the creators of Black Hole made this supernova DEX exclusively on Ethereum, and they are doing airdrops to liquidity providers like they did with Black Hole. So if you want to check and see, claim opens up at 7 p.m. Pacific. So an hour and a half? Eligibility. Here you go. So looks like if you deposited over 100K in LP before the first epoch flipped, and maintained 100K. So
$100,000? You had to
the
deposit.
rewards aren't based on how much
$100,000?
liquidity you park. They're based on how much you earn. Okay, so eligible pools. Yeah, Nova USDT, Nova Wrapped ETH, all these others. So yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to be doing a generous one for like they did with Black Hole. But if
I would say any airdrop, if you get an airdrop,
sell it.
I would sell it. After my experience with Black Hole, at one point that the airdrop I got was worth like $1,000. I should have just sold it. Instead, I locked it and perma burned it, because the guy was claiming that he was going to do something really awesome for anybody that permanently burned their airdrop, and it really was nothing. Like nothing ever happened. I basically gave up $1,000. It don't get me wrong, I made a bunch of money off of that USDC Black Hole pool.
Mhm.
And and I was able to buy a bunch of other crypto with it, because I was siphoning it off. But yeah, and not to say that they did anything malicious. They didn't like rug pull or anything like that. It's just bad timing. They thought that it was the beginning of the bull run, and we just never really saw a widespread bull run. We saw Bitcoin got its pump. We saw a bunch of the ISO, Dino tokens, they pumped a bit. You got HBAR, XLM, XRP, they saw some good movement. And that was kind of the beginning of, what usually happens in the bull market is, you get Bitcoin pumps, you get the rotation into Ethereum and, high cap alts. And we kind of saw that. And then, of course, we all know what happened. We had the Trump coin launch, and it sucked, all the liquidity out of the market. And then, October 10th and everything else. And it was just this culmination of events that just drove the market, into a deep dark hole. And, we're sitting, hopefully at the bottom of it, and, we're just kind of, in a holding pattern, seeing what's going to happen.
Oh, a black hole almost ruined my hole.
Right? Yeah. Freaking, yeah. My prison wallet, it has 3 slots in it now.
Yeah. Midnight airdrop. Did anybody in our community get the midnight airdrop?
Well,
Anybody out
Wispy's a part of our community.
Well, besides Wispy and Wispy, how was the airdrop? How was your airdrop allocation? I didn't have enough in my wallets to qualify.
Nick Dunn sucking liquidity in dark holes, my favorite. Or dark holes sucking your liquidity.
Yeah.
So somewhat recently, for the past like month or two, I've been going on the Mario New Fall show quite a bit. They keep asking me to come back.
Mhm.
And basically what it is it's not the main show, but it's we get sometimes 86,000 or more live viewers. But basically all we're doing is just talking about different topics. And so this one today, we were talking about, I guess, this Baby Shark University. I'm sure you've all heard that kid's song, Baby Shark. I guess they're launching some sort of project based off of it. And so we were talking about that today, but overall, we were talking about, well, here, I'll play a little bit of it.
Started messing with that type of stuff, or maybe it was one of the other properties. Have you guys ever picked up a game because a large IP?
That's what it was, is we were talking about intellectual property and how a lot of especially in video games, a lot of kind of old brands like Transformers and Thundercats and just kind of old nostalgia stuff, kind of like in that Ready Player One. Mario and, just, kind of old games and old toys, and Fortnite has been doing a lot of it. And it used to be where you had to pay to use their intellectual property. Nowadays, it's getting to the point to where they are paying for a lot of these games to use their intellectual property because it sparks new interest, in their old products. And so, that's kind of what we were talking about, today was just, kind of intellectual property on, a lot of these Web3, these new Web3 projects. I see your eyes moving, Jeff. You still there?
Oh, I thought you were going to play a little more. I didn't.
No. I was.
I mean, how was
nice.
how was the show? What, today? This
Oh
afternoon?
yeah, no, it was a great show. I always enjoy doing them. Oh, so it looks like I put Shaw and Drew in contact with each other so Drew could do another interview with them. So it looks like they must have done the interview.
Nice.
Let's actually take a look at that. Drew, but I love me some Drew. Let's see what he has to say. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Hold on one sec. Let's go here.
Let's give it a look-see.
So it looks like it's about 30 minutes long. Man, why is it taking so long?
So that was kind of the belief, which is very similar to what you heard from a lot of other crypto projects. The big difference was the path to doing it. So we knew that the goal is, as I said, we claim to fame of Canton. Canton is an L1. It's a public permissionless L1, but with privacy. And that privacy is a double-edged sword when you're looking at it from a crypto investor's point of view, because there is a lot happening on the network that we don't see. So even those numbers, that is a partial number of what's happening on the network. And we can estimate, we know who's on the network, more or less those who inform that they're on the network. But that is a lower bound of the stuff that we know that is in the network. And the way this kind of happened and why it's been a surprise for everyone. as I said, we've been around since 2014. So we've been around crypto for quite a while. My co-founders came from DRW, and one of my co-founders started Cumberland Mining. I started a Bitcoin brokerage in Israel in 2012, and we really subscribed into this view of blockchain will be the new financial rails for the world, including RWAs. It wasn't called RWAs at the time, but for institutions, for pretty much anyone who wants to transact with any kind of asset between companies. So that was kind of the belief, which is very similar to what you heard from a lot of other crypto projects. The big difference was the path to doing it. So we knew that the goal is to get to a public permissionless network, but we were talking to big financial institutions from very early on. I mean, in 2014, 2015, we were meeting 4 or 5 times a day with the biggest banks in New York, in Singapore, Hong Kong, in Australia, and we were hearing them. We were listening to them. When I think at that time, all the crypto world was kind of looking and saying, we're going to completely get rid of banks, get rid of institutions. We were saying, we need to understand the requirements. And very early on, we got a bit of everyone's got a plan until you get a punch in the mouth. We got punched in the mouth very, very early in 2015, and we realized, okay, the way we're approaching it, we're going with a public blockchain, that's just not going to cut it for the next few years. People just weren't ready for that. So we architected Canton to be a public network. But for the first few years, our customers were saying, we're willing to put very serious assets, we're willing to put critical workloads on this thing, but it can't be open to everyone in the public. We're just not ready for that.
That's where the privacy aspect institutionally came from.
Yeah, and so we've been building this thing for a long time, and then it went live in 2020. Started getting more and more assets and workflows running on this. And every year we would ask our customers, we would give them the ideas of how this is an open network, how it.
All right. So yeah, no, it's there we go. Yeah, Drew does a great job with interviews. I really enjoy watching him interview people. That's kind of why whenever we did the interview with Shaw, I asked him to come on the show. He just has a really good flow, to how he talks to people.
Yeah, and it's interesting to hear him talk about the early stages, how the privacy aspect was kind of important because they didn't want it to be public. And I mean, you're dealing with critical information on a new blockchain or a new network. So you don't want it, you kind of need privacy to be important to keep it from the public.
It's
ramping up there.
When you're connecting banks, when you're connecting the siloed networks of banks, the money moving, value moving, liquidity moving, it can't be public. It just can't. To be compliant with regulation and stuff like that. I mean, you don't want your bank account activity to be visible to everybody out there. I don't. I don't want everybody seeing what I'm spending my money on and what I'm doing. It pisses me off that the government and the bank can see it. It's like it's nobody's business but mine. And the person I'm giving the money to. But that's kind of what Canton does, is it connects these different banks and different institutions so that liquidity and money can flow. But the only people that have visibility are the sender, the receiver, and then the bank, of course, and any regulatory bodies that are authorized to see that. So, it's the reason I'm so bullish on Canton. Yes, it goes against all the ethos of, kind of why we all got into crypto and, the kind of the anti-government, anti-bank, anti-establishment. But you also need to realize that, not every project is going to be in line with that. And, if these institutions are the ones that are investing in it and the ones that are going to be utilizing it and onboarding, they're going to be the ones that dictate, what that product looks like. If you go to buy a car, you're not going to let the dealership tell you what car you're going to buy and what color it is and what interior you're going to get. You're going to go in there and you're going to say, I want this, 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 and this. And if you can't give me that, I'm out of here.
Mm-hmm.
They're the same way. If you're providing a service, you have to give them what it is that they want. So yeah, that's, kind of one of the reasons why, I'm so, bullish on Canton is, one of the many reasons. But let's see what the CFTC chairman has to say about the Clarity Act.
Well, thanks to the president's leadership, we are on the cusp of getting clarity enacted into law. The regulation by enforcement's over, the Genius Act signed into law, and we've really turned a new page. And I would say the United States today is the crypto capital of the world. But well, thanks to the president's leadership, we are on the cusp of getting clarity enacted into law.
That's super short. I was hoping that he'd say something a little bit more than just propaganda. I call it propaganda because, it's like, oh, we're getting closer. That's like saying, oh, there's, talks that, such and such a bank is, might launch on such and such a chain. That doesn't mean shit. That people are talking or in negotiations. Talk to me when it passes the House, passes the Senate, and it's heading for the president's desk for signature. And then we can look at it and see what's in it. We might not even want this thing to fucking pass by the time, these politicians are done with it. This Clarity Act might end up being a, freaking coffin nail for crypto on how it's drafted. Let's see what else we got going on. Oh, shit.
Flights being diverted?
No, over 50 U.S. fighter jets, including F-35s, F-22s, and F-16s, have been sent to the Middle East within 24 hours. So I saw something earlier down here. There's the, I forget the exact name of it. There's a strait down here, and Iran likes to flex all the time that they're going to shut it down. So there's this little fucking peninsula that comes out into the Suez Canal.
The Suez Canal.
Yeah, and but there's a little peninsula that comes out, and it's a pinch point, in the waterway, and they've threatened to shut it down before, and just shutting that thing down even temporarily. I don't know if you remember, but there was a large vessel that was going through the Suez Canal.
Turned?
Yeah, and it got wedged in there, and it shut down the Suez Canal for it was like a week or two. And what it did is it forced all shipping from like Asia and stuff that was trying to get to Europe to go down around the southern Horn of Africa and come back up. So it added like 30 days or something to shipping, which was a massive, rise in the cost of shipping. So it deeply impacted, the price of goods in Europe. So, super strategic. The Suez Canal is a super strategic, place.
Well, and don't you get more chances to get hit by like pirates and stuff?
Oh yeah, the Somali pirates,
them SPs.
Let's see what else we got. Gemini stock plunges after it parts ways with COO, CFO, and chief legal officer months after IPO. So they off like their top C-suite positions, basically, other than the CEO. So the COO is kind of the second in command, somewhat along with the CFO and the CLO. So basically they cleared out their whole C-suite. That's not a good look. Yeah, I would agree with this. So Securitize, they're big into tokenization of real world assets, or RWAs. There's about 4 billion adults, more than 50, that'd be about 60-ish% of adults who don't have access or any ability to invest in high quality assets like the US stock market or real estate. Tokenization solves this. And what they're talking about, you know what, let's listen to them. It's not a super long.
What real world problem does tokenization solve, and how does it promise to improve the future of finance?
Tokenization solves a lot of problems. I mean, there's an efficiency aspect to it. You can have real-time settlement, lower fees, but maybe the most powerful part of it is just democratization of access to investment in high quality products. A lot of people have heard about the unbanked. There's actually an unbrokered segment of the world as well. There's about 4 billion adults who don't have access or any ability to invest in high quality assets like the US stock market or, you know, real estate or whatever. So what tokenization can do is it's just like, you know, you have an underlying unit of that asset. You now have a token that's one-to-one representative of that. The first version of this was stable coins. That's another version of tokenization. So stable coins have been growing enormously. We're now seeing that happen with US equities, real estate. It'll happen with corporate paper, you know, commodities, like all kinds of things will come on chain. And this is just going to allow the people of the world to participate in this engine of wealth creation.
So basically what he's getting at, without getting directly to the point, is with tokenization, you can have fractional ownership of things that traditionally you had to have huge sums of money. You know, like a shipping vessel could be tokenized, and you could buy a fractionalized, you know, part of that shipping vessel and potentially, you know, share in the revenue it generates. So, you know, depending on how much of the tokens that you own. So if there's, you know, 1 million tokens, I'm just gonna use round numbers. If there's 1 million tokens and it makes $1 million a month, then, and you own one token, then you would make $1 a month. You know, of course, after operating expenses and stuff like that. But real estate, you might not be able to afford to buy a whole house by yourself, but with tokenization, you could, you know, if a house was tokenized or an office building was tokenized and you had $100, you could invest $100 into that office building. You know, if, you know, with the revenue that, you know, you generated, you could compound that back in, and over time you could own more and more and more of that office building or that, you know, that house or, you know, or something else. There's a lot of things that can be tokenized that used to be illiquid that you can then, and if you're a house flipper, this is something I've thought about, is once this really takes off, if you want to flip houses, if you can initially get a loan for a house that you could then tokenize, then you could sell, you know, that house, you know, that fractional ownership for more liquidity to, you know, and like keep part of it, you know, keep like 20% of it or something like that. But 80% of it, you would have liquid now again to go out and buy another property. So you would still own that property and you would have to be paying people out, you know, whatever it is that you agreed to in the smart contract, to where, you know, they share. And if it's a rental property, they would get a share of, you know, that, you know, rental revenue, either, you know, daily, weekly, monthly, you know, annually, whatever it is that you set up. And you would have that liquidity available to go and buy another property, which you could again keep 20% or whatever, tokenize it and use another 80% to go buy another one. And you could just keep doing that. So it really opens a lot of doors, and all the while you're not having to get a new loan. You know, you already own the first one and you're tokenizing that. The loan that you're getting is from other people like me and you and, you know, everyone listening. You don't have to go to an institution. You don't have to go to a bank to get that loan. You see where I'm going with this? You know, so, you know, you can launch a token and, or, you know, put it on a website like Proppy or something like that, to where people around the world, if they have $10, if they have $5, if they have $500,000, they can invest in, you know, your token and own a portion of that piece of property. It's a super exciting, you know, for me. I mean, I'm kind of a nerd with this stuff, but it's a super exciting twist, and really democratizes, like he was saying, you know, the financial sector, to where stuff that a lot of us couldn't afford to get into traditionally, because, you know, you didn't have the credit, or you didn't have the capital or the collateral to get a loan from a bank. You now don't need it. If you got, you know, $10 of extra money each week, you know, out of your paycheck, or, you know, $100 out of each month, you can use that to invest in real estate and, you know, and take advantage of the gains that can be had from that. So anyway.
Yeah, and having to deal with, like, if that bankers had a bad day and they just like, well, I'm gonna sit on this, you know, this proposal, or just decide not to submit it. You know, you just don't know what people will do in the background. And also, when my brother, my brother Rob, him and his wife were looking to buy a house. This is like 4 or 5 years ago, and with his score and what he made and everything, he could get approved no problem. But having his wife added on, you know, she didn't really make that much and had some stuff in debt, but her credit score was good. But she was, I guess, considered a liability being added to their application, and it kind of downgraded them in a way. So I found that really interesting. So, you know, some of this stuff, it's like, hey, we can afford to pay this or whatever, but the banks, I don't know. It's all weird, man. It's all fucking weird. Yeah, and the fractional stuff, I wanted to bring this up real quick. This whole Jake Paul, I don't know if anyone's seen this Jake Paul Pikachu card yet.
Oh, shit.
Sold. Have you seen this, Myke?
Yeah, he made a shit ton of money.
Well, it's not just that. So he had this liquid marketplace in 2022 that had fractional shares of the asset of this Pokemon card, and he raised 2.6 million. And the marketplace, you know, rug pulled, and he said, I didn't have anything to do with that. It was the team and all this bullshit, right? Now, mind you, he also had an NFT project called Crypto Zoo, where they rug pulled as well and claimed, and who was it? CoffeeZilla did a whole expose on it, and he just, you know, went ghost on it. And now he sells this Pikachu card for like 19 million. But apparently, so they said that days before the sale, a new wallet placed large bets on the sale price and cleared 300K profit. I forget what prediction markets they opened the wallet on, but yeah. And they said that they think it's his friend that bought the card. So it's like, these motherfuckers, man, like the Paul brothers are just fucking gross, dude. Especially Logan. Like, it's like, you're a fucking slime, man. You are slime, and you know, just don't get involved with anything these fucking clowns do.
You know what? I wouldn't fuck them with my enemy's dick.
Nope. Nope.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got. We got a couple minutes left. Day 4, here's a list of the DeFi tools that I use on a daily basis. Wallet, Rabby, Bridge Jumper, Gas Refuel, Gas Zip, Yield Finder, Vaults, FYI. I'll have to look into that one. Actually, I'll bookmark that. Portfolio Tracker, DBank. That's a good one. I actually been using Metrix. Dex Aggregator, Llama Swap. That's a part of DeFi Llama. Perps Arbitrage Screener. Loris Tools. Never heard of it. Oh, and best part, they're all free. So yeah, that's definitely something to check out.
Loris Tools, yeah.
Starkware. Starknet is something that I thought was dead, but Starkware has integrated Wize Nightfall ZK privacy layer into Starknet, intended to let institutions run private payments and DeFi transaction on Ethereum rails while maintaining auditability. I think this is a nothing burger.
Yeah,
Like,
the Starknet volume and stuff is just non-existent.
This is basically what freaking Canton is already doing, and it's actually being adopted and used. Yeah. I think Starknet's grasping at straws, trying to stay relevant. In my opinion, I don't know a ton about Starknet, but I haven't seen any bullish news on it, and price, it does not look good.
Yeah, I sold that airdrop when I got it, and I'm glad I did. It was like 2 years ago.
Yeah. Let's see. I want to find one more fucking solid thing before we wrap this up. And I get some dinner and play me some freaking
nice long solid news headline.
Right. Yeah, because I want to do me a little bit of gaming before the night is over.
Yeah, Ellie, I think the best part of that Tyson fight was Tyson showing his ass before the fight.
Dude,
that was the most entertaining part.
It was painfully obvious that Tyson could have knocked him the fuck out because he accidentally, just it wasn't even like Tyson full power. It was kind of like a swing that connected, and there was a couple of times where Jake dropped his hand. There was one in particular where he dropped his hand, and Tyson was swinging, and like basically Tyson pulled his hand back and didn't follow through. And it was like, really? Because I'm sorry, Tyson is like 60 something years old now. If Tyson hits somebody, like connected with somebody, I mean, he's not in his prime, but I'm sorry, with those hands and just the muscle memory, he could kill somebody still, I'm sure, with a punch.
Yep.
Let's see what we got. Oh, this is something that I found today that people might be interested in. Is NVIDIA launched, it's called Personaplex, a natural conversational AI with any role and voice. So I'm still doing some research into it, but I kind of want to use it because from what I've gotten so far is it looks like you can install it on your computer, and it utilizes other AIs, their language learning models. And this is just basically like a UI or interface to where it's purely conversational. So it's not like the AI that we're dealing with right now. Like when I'm talking to Miles and he'll like, if he thinks I'm done talking, he'll like start interrupting and things like that. This one, it's more, it flows more. So, you can be talking and it's listening at the same time. And even while it's responding back, it's actively listening as well. So there's a more of a fluid conversation going on. So I'm really, I mean, AI is what it is. And, I can definitely see how it could, turn into Skynet and enslave us all and, kill all of humanity. But at the same time, if it doesn't, I can see what a powerful tool that it's going to be. I mean, I've started extensively using it for the show, to help with marketing and help with different aspects. And I know Taylor, my brother, he has like 3 computers right now, working as a team, doing different parts of the same task to streamline his businesses and to to make them more efficient and to give him ways to upgrade and update his businesses. And I know that he already uses AI extensively instead of legal assistants. So, instead of hiring, an army of legal aides that cost him, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, he started using AI, and it's faster. It's, obviously cheaper, but it's more accurate. He just goes through and proofs it. But for the most part, what took a human a couple of days to do, AI does in a couple of minutes.
Shit. Yeah, that's powerful. Gosh. Saving him a bunch of money and probably a little more accurate. You don't have the fatigue that a person has after reading documents all day and sorting through, and you start getting cross-eyed and missing key information.
Absolutely. And you can run it through, different AIs and have it, proofread each other. I mean, you could, run it through different language learning models to, cut down on mistakes. There's just so many cool things that you're going to be able to do with AI. So,
yeah.
Well, what do you got for closing thoughts, brother?
Yeah. If you feel that your job is at risk of AI, start learning how to utilize prompts, how to build your own AI agent or model. I was looking at some projects the other day that are using AI agents, and you can build these agents to do certain tasks and have people hire your agent to do the tasks. freelance work and shit. And the better the agent performs, the more, you know, the wider spread it'll be offered to people. So I'll look at sharing some of those projects as later on down the line. So if anyone's interested in that, you know, I'll be sharing that more on the show just to kind of show what's out there and what's possible. If people want freelance work or need to hire people, but they don't have the resources, you know, you can find these and create these AI agents to do certain tasks. But I think it's cool. You know, like with any new turn of technology and horse and buggy, the Industrial Revolution, all that stuff, some places will be hit, but you got to find other opportunities. You can't just be, oh, woe is me, it's going to take my job and I can't do anything about it. No, fucking pick yourself up by the bootstraps and find a way to to maneuver and pivot if you have to. But
I'm with Jay. Let's make an army of OnlyFans AI models.
Hey, yeah. So, man, some of those videos are fucking creepy, man. This dude standing there and and the AI is just going with them and they're looking like little baddies.
Well, I wouldn't want to do that because then you got to do what the little AI baddies are doing. You got to Oh, there we go.
YouTube is down?
No, I just checked. It's up. Oh,
Okay.
Hold on. No. Oh no, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
So,
but yeah,
no, it's a thing. You know, it's definitely a thing. Well, I appreciate you, brother. I don't think I got a whole lot of closing thoughts. I think I got all my thoughts out during the show.
Yeah, we appreciate all of you out there watching. Those of you who are sticking through the doldrums of the bear market.
I know it's there's nothing exciting going on right now. You know, there's some good news, some good building. You know, you got DeFi Llama. You know, pretty much the most exciting thing that I see going on right now is RWA.xyz. You know, this and DeFi Llama is what keeps, you know, my spirits high, is, you know, just seeing all of this building and adoption and, you know, the projects that are growing. And that's where my focus is at. You know, Canton, huge fan of that, obviously. Ethereum, what else? You know, Aerodrome, you know, just a lot of these projects that even in the dumps, you know, that this market is in, they just keep earning. You know, they keep growing, they keep onboarding. You know, that is what's, you know, getting me through this. You know, and earning does not hurt. You know, the fact that I'm always earning free crypto at cheaper prices is awesome. So, yeah, Blake, welcome to the show. I haven't seen you before, but yeah, we talked about CC earlier in the show. Canton is probably one of the projects I'm the most bullish on. You know, Aerodrome, Canton, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. You know, there's some other ones that, you know, that I'm bullish on, but if I was to pick 4, that would be the ones right now.
Canton.
And
well, Robinhood might introduce a coin. They just launched their testnet network. So, and that's, I mean, that could be.
Oh, go ahead.
You know, it could be useful for their specific case, you know, with tokenizing stocks, but you got other protocols that can do it probably much better and safer.
And I would take a really close look at the tokenomics. You know, what's the distribution? You know, how much are they, you know, of the tokens are they keeping? You know, if you're buying the token, are they sharing revenue generated, you know, by the project, by the platform with token holders in some way? That is my mantra. You know, remember I had like the DeFi, you know, rules, you know, the 250K or more for the DeFi pools and all that.
Yeah.
I need to make one for projects. And that's a big part of it, is if by holding the token, if there isn't a way that the revenue generated by the project or the chain is shared with token holders, not interested.
Yep.
So,
yep.
All right. Well, take care, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow. We got DeFi High at 9 in the morning, and tomorrow is the DeFi Masterclass at 3 p.m. Pacific with me, David, and Jake, where we talk about advanced DeFi strategies. So join us mañana, and until then, Veteran Crypto out.
Be there, be square.